All right, listen, y'all. There was a lot to like about this game. There was certainly a lot to dislike. There was actually a lot to hate, and we'll get into that. But can we just sit back for a second and imagine how intense a playoff series between these two teams would be? I think they showed the stat on FanDuel Sports Network that 4 out of our last 5 matchups versus the Pistons were all decided by 1 possession or fewer. I think 2 of those games went to overtime. There was 2 game winners. There was the one that Cade banked in, which was an all-time low last season amongst many all-time lows. We don't have to relive last season. This is a completely different Heat team and one that I'm quite optimistic about despite the loss. But you had the Cade banking in the game winner last year. You had Bam hitting a game-winning 3 at the buzzer versus them. You also had a missed game winner. I think Cade missed a game-winning 3 a couple years back. So these two teams have always matched up very well together, and it's always been a very exciting watch. Now, it didn't look like it was going to appear that way with the Heat down 20 points, but somehow they managed to come all the way back. Somehow. Let me give credit to my guy, Davion Mitchell. The dog, baby. Only one out there who never quit. I can't say that. Everybody that was out there in the closing lineup, they all showed a little bit of heart. And that is one of the things that I do love about this team is they don't appear to quit. So while I certainly don't believe in moral victories, I think moral victories are for losers. And I am very annoyed that we lost. I'm almost more annoyed that they gave me false hope. But I also appreciate, in a sense, the fact that they didn't quit, right? And that is one of the things I like about this team, although I don't count it as a moral victory. And again, anybody that's saying that is a loser. I already see people saying that on Twitter. No, you lost, okay? You lost to a Pistons team that had just lost 2 in a row, and they're on the second night of a back-to-back. They just lost to the Magic yesterday, and you let them drop 130-something points on your head? What did they finish with today? They finished with 138 points, and you scored 135, and you lost? That shouldn't happen. You gave away too many pain points. And like I said, there's a lot to dislike. I don't want to get ahead of myself here. But what you did do is you did fight back against a very good Pistons team. And I want to give them credit as well because we've looked into some defensive ratings this year. I think when the Heat played the Mavericks and the Heat offense struggled a little bit, we pointed out that the Mavs had the 4th rated defense. The Heat actually have the 3rd rated. And then it's the Pistons at number 2. So not only do they have this great offensive engine with Cade Cunningham and a great big man in Jalen Duren, who didn't even play today, but their defensive system is also awesome. That being said, nobody's close to OKC, who just got J-Dub back. And it doesn't look like it matters what anybody else is going to do because it doesn't look like that team is ever going to lose again, the Oklahoma City Thunder. So this season is all about playing for second, which I'm okay with, I guess. Or it's about the NBA Cup, which I suppose the Heat have a chance in now also if you care about that type of thing. But anyways, I want to give the Pistons credit because I think they're an awesome team, and I think Cade Cunningham is an awesome player, and I think Duncan Robinson was really out there showing off tonight, and I appreciate that because y'all know Duncan is still my boy. But the fact you were able to kind of fight back against them was inspiring to see. At least I thought so. But then when it came down to it and you needed one stop to get a chance to get the ball back to take the lead, well, John Jenkins hit a layup, and that guy came out of nowhere. He's been going crazy this season, which annoys me because the Heat are supposed to be the team getting all these undrafted gems. I hate when other teams do it. But shout out, no, is his name even John Jenkins? Or is John Jenkins a guy that played in the league a long time ago, and I'm mixing his name up? I should get his name right. Yeah, it's right. It's Dennis Jenkins. Isn't John Jenkins the guy who, like, when you started NBA My Team in, like, 2K11, he's like the base gray card that everybody got? Let me comment down below if y'all remember getting John Jenkins in My Team in like 2K10 or 11, whatever. But anyways, Dennis Jenkins, yeah, he hit an easy layup to make it a 2-possession game. The Heat would get a score late, and then Cade Cunningham did what Cade Cunningham does and essentially put the dagger in you as he put the Pistons up 2 possessions under 24 seconds left, and that was pretty much all she wrote. And I think that right there is the biggest difference between these two teams is I fully believe that Cade Cunningham is a superstar and he is a go-to guy. The Miami Heat don't have one of those. Now, I think they have a guy that you can give the ball to and say, hey, go get a bucket late. I think Tyler Hero and Norman Powell are brilliant offensive players. Both guys hit some big shots late. They also missed a little bit as well. But they're not a full 48-minute superstar that can just dominate you physically like a guy like Cade Cunningham is. And when you absolutely needed a bucket stop a run late, it was Cade Cunningham who they went to, and he made it look quite easy, actually. Even at the end, Norman Powell had to rely on getting fouled from three. Tyler Hero got fouled on what was almost a three-pointer. It's like they're having to draw these fouls from the three-point line after some pretty bad defense. Cade was just able to get to a spot, raise up, and hit like an easy 8-foot jumper. That was the dagger. Which, again, we shouldn't be surprised. Actually, right now on FanDuel, the sponsor of today's video, Cade Cunningham is the odds-on favorite to win Clutch Player of the Year at plus 300. And then under him, you got Shea at plus 450, which is weird because they don't even play any clutch games. He's only played like 2 fourth quarters this year. But you got Shea, and Edwards, Jokic, Curry, Maxey, Luka, Durant, Harden, all the usual suspects, and then Cade Cunningham right on top. So obviously that's brilliant company that he's in, and just goes to show how great a season he's having, particularly in the clutch. He's one of the highest scoring, fourth quarter players this season. So that should also give the Heat some credit that they were kind of able to lock in on him and kind of eliminate him up until the last minute of the game. And a lot of that credit there goes to Davion Mitchell. So that's kind of the quick recap, as the Heat kind of got blasted from the jump, but they kind of fought back and lost a hard-fought one. There's a lot of other things that we can get into here. I think I'll kind of go through the game a little bit, and then once we read through the box score, we'll kind of point out some of the specifics on each player. So from the jump, though, of course, Duncan Robinson's return game. I had read they were going to do a tribute video for him. I didn't see it. I don't know if they showed it on TV. I didn't watch I watched right before tip-off. I didn't watch the several minutes prior. And I didn't see it on Twitter, so I have to look it up. Hopefully it was a good one. I'm very curious if it was longer than Jimmy Butler's tribute, which was noticeably short. I was even at that game. I wanted to go tonight's. I couldn't make it out there. Y'all see I'm back over here in the childhood home, back over here in Davie. So I'm on the southeast coast of Florida. So I was a little bit closer to Miami. I wanted to go because I actually was fortunate enough to go to LeBron's return to Miami when he was on the Cavs, Wade's return when he was on the Bulls, my guy Whiteside's return when he was on the Trailblazers. Y'all see if y'all haven't seen before, this is my big 3 poster, Bosh, Wade, and Whiteside taped over LeBron in the middle. That's how much Whiteside was my guy growing up. But I went to Whiteside's return when he was with Portland, and then I went to Jimmy's return last year when he was on the Warriors. So I would have loved to see Duncan, or maybe I wouldn't have, because he was cooking us tonight. But shout out to him, and I do think it was a class act for the Heat to give their all-time leader in three-pointers made a tribute video. Usually they used to reserve it for champions, but I think you can make some exceptions. You can make some judgment calls. Jimmy Butler, the 3rd greatest player in your franchise history, deserved a tribute video, and of course Duncan Robinson the same. So nice to see him really have a successful season with Detroit. Of course, I'm very happy for him. He did catch a break though, as the Pistons had no Jalen Duren tonight, second night of a back-to-back. Their young big man who's been tearing it up this year was really terrifying to me because he is a physical specimen, and especially if the Heat decided they wanted to continue this small ball, which they did tonight, I knew Jalen Duren would have killed us. Now, we never know. Maybe Spo would have started where if Jalen Duren started. We won't really know until the next couple of games. We'll see, because I think the next game is the Clippers. So, obviously, they got Zubac. And last time I think they played, didn't Ware have a decent game versus Zubac? So, we'll see if Spo adjusts the starting lineup. Because tonight, he did not start Ware. Started the same lineup we saw last time. That's Mitchell, Norman, Hero, Wiggins, and Bam. I'm on record very clearly saying that I don't like that lineup. We saw the Pistons just kill the Heat in paint points today. I think they had like 60 paint points in the first half. I think like 90% of Cade's points were all in the paint. Isaiah Stewart at times was able to just look like man against boys in there. Same thing with Paul Reed, and it don't make sense. And every time Khalil Ware is in a game, he makes an impact. I don't think many guys were great for the Heat tonight. I think Wiggins was pretty great, and I think Khalil Ware had some really nice moments as well. Obviously in the fourth quarter, Davion and Norm Powell and Hero had some moments. But overall, the guys that when the Heat were getting blown out that I wasn't frustrated with was Wiggins and Ware. Now, that doesn't mean Ware was perfect tonight. No, there was still times where I saw Paul Reed kind of ragdoll him a little bit. But I think for the most part, Ware made a great impact. And he's a guy that you need to find minutes for as much as possible. Because even in total, just to jump forward to the box score a little bit tonight, Khalil Ware today played 21 minutes. Come on, Spo. It's not enough. It's not enough, And I understand Spo's trying to match the other team if they go a little small, because the Pistons were very small. Their starting center was 6'8", Isaiah Stewart, who is actually statistically one of the best rim deterrents this year. bit of a surprise because he's not that big. Obviously, he's an excellent rebounder, great hustle guy. I've always liked Stewart. But he's still on the smaller side, 6'8", power forward, 6'8". Tobias Harris, of course, more of a perimeter player. So they're not a very tall team. Now, I mean, they've got a Sir Thompson and Duncan Robinson, Cade Cunningham. So overall, everybody is 6'6" or taller in their lineup. So they don't have any small guys, but they also don't have anyone big. And instead of Spoelstra trying to match the other team by going smaller, I wish he would have said, hey, we're going to go big and dominate you like teams do to us. For all those years the Heat were so small, you didn't see other teams say, hey, let's also go small. Let's match the Miami Heat small ball. No, they would go big so then they can then terrorize the other team. And I would have loved to see Khalil Ware today on a 6'8" Isaiah Stewart. And then you have a Bam trying to be guarded by 6'8" Tobias Harris. Come on now. The Heat would have feasted. It just makes no sense to me why Spo tries to match other teams instead of using his size as an advantage these once-in-a-while games when they actually have the bigger team. It doesn't make sense to me because obviously Cade Cunningham was cooking all day. He finished the night with 29 points and 8 assists, 56% shooting. Obviously, most of those points were in the paint. And as great as Davion was in the fourth quarter, and he was great applying pressure all game, he's still a lot smaller than Cade. You know, Davion's what, 6 foot, 6'1". Cade's like 6'6". Like, you can only do so much at times. And I just feel like you have the most versatile defender in the NBA in Bam Adebayo. I would have loved to see the Heat been able to throw Bam on Cade, not all game, but through spurts throughout the game to kind of throw him off his rhythm when he really got going. But the reason he couldn't afford to do that is because you didn't have Khalil Ware out there that much. So you needed Bam out there to box out and guard the bigs and rim protect and do all those other things that he does. That's not to say that Bam and Ware didn't play significant minutes together. They had multiple stretches throughout this game, but clearly it wasn't enough because Ware only played 21 minutes. And I think if Bam and Ware had played 21 minutes together, like total, that wouldn't be enough. And of course, all of Ware's minutes weren't with Bam. That's how I know they played less than 21 minutes together. You know, the point is they need to share the floor as much as possible. And I understand why that's easier said than done because your only other big man on this roster is Nikola Jovic, who sucks. But I'll save that for when we get through the box score. Otherwise, I'm never going to get through this game if I go on my Nikola Jovic rant. But anyways, the Heat have their same starting lineup. Unfortunately, no Jaime Jaquez did have a groin injury, which is an injury he's dealt with in the past. So let's hope this is a minor thing and doesn't kind of affect him like we saw it affect him last year. But you had no him today. The Heat did have the Vice jerseys in that beautiful Vice court, which I found at times to be ruined by that stupid C4 Energy logo that they put on the screen. Did anyone else notice that? I understand the logo is not physically on the court. It's the digital, whatever imprint. But they had this neon yellow C4 Energy logo. I don't even know what the hell that is. Imprinted on the court. You got this beautiful blues and pink Vice colors. And then this yellow C4 logo. Get that the hell off the court, man. The NBA and Adam Silver, he's ruined the league with all these ads. Oh my God, is it annoying? Everywhere you look, it's an ad. Anyways, the first quarter, the Heat came out of down 13. They were down 36-23. Really just awful shooting for them. I think in the first half, actually, the Heat were only down 11 at halftime, and the Heat shot 39% at half to the Pistons 59%. So I think the first half was mostly just chalked up to bad shooting. Again, people will want to blame Tyler Hero, and I get it. I mean, as soon as he came back, the pace came down. Statistically, the offense came down. These are actual facts. But just from watching the game, it's hard for me to blame Tyler just because everybody is missing open shots they usually make. So I don't want to blame him, although the coincidence is weird nonetheless. But in that second quarter, the Heat had a couple moments, even went on a 12-0 run. But for the most part, both teams played pretty sloppy. Dumb turnovers both ways. I thought the officiating was horrendous all night. There's one play in the second quarter. Cade ran into Bam. Bam obviously turned it over. No foul call on Cade. And then the very next possession, Norman Powell runs into Cade, and then they call a foul on Norman Powell. And at first, they didn't even call a foul. They just said that the ball was out on Cade, and then 10 seconds later, another ref came in and said, no, foul on Norman Powell. So our guys can get trucked, and we can't truck them? How's that fair? Anyway, there was another play earlier, like Ron Holland, or was it Asar, clearly stepped out of bounds. That one female ref is looking right at it, and what are you looking at? I don't know. I think she stinks, quite frankly. And this is not the first time I've had problems with her officiating. Nothing with her being a lady. I'm sure she's a great woman. And I thought there was actually 2 female refs tonight, which I thought was pretty cool. And I thought the other one was fine. She was decent, but it's just that one. It's like I'm watching you look at his feet. Come on. Even in the fourth quarter, Spo had to call a challenge that he won, and the ball clearly went off of Sar Thompson's hands. You're looking at it. How do you not see it? I don't know. I don't think that Gucci Mane ref is great either, to be clear. People love him because they say he looks like Gucci Mane. What's his name? James Williams? I think he's overrated too, but anyways, I don't know. I don't want to complain about an officiating. That's not why the Heat were down 20. And also, the Heat shot like 1,000,000 free throws tonight. So I'm really just grasping for straws here for a scapegoat. And I'm trying my hardest not to make the scapegoat Nikola Jovic, because I want to be easy on the kid, but it's hard not to be Jovi. What are you doing to me, Jovi? Because, yeah, the Heat did shoot. How many free throws did he shot today? They shot 39 free throws. Actually made 85% of them today because the Heat had been struggling from the line, particularly Davion Mitchell. Yeesh. But anyways, the Heat would go into halftime down 11. And then in the third quarter, more sloppy ball. The Heat had about 4 turnovers this game where they're trying to push pace and they just throw the ball behind the person that they're trying to outlet to. So, like, they couldn't push pace at all. I think they were letting the Pistons defense really rush them. And then it wasn't until that fourth quarter where the Heat realized, hey, we got to slow down a little bit to then allow us push pace. We can't allow the Pistons to make us play even faster than we want to. But, again, that's a credit to the Pistons defense. I really thought it was over when Duncan Robinson had a Euro step over Davion and then started talking his smack, and he started really feeling himself. That was to put the Pistons up 17 in the third quarter. Although Andrew Wiggins did do his best to keep the Heat afloat. And then Nikola Jovic came in and had one of the worst sequences you'll ever see. Quite literally threw the ball right to Ron Holland. Looked like something Tua Tagovailoa would do. Just completely telegraphed his pass, threw it right to Ron Holland, led to a bucket in transition. And then on the ensuing inbounds possession, Jovic threw an awful pass to Drew Smith, which was stolen by, I think, also Holland. And then Drew Smith had to then foul Holland to just prevent him from getting easy layups. So back-to-back screw-ups from Jovic. He's the type of guy who, when he makes a mistake, he puts his head down, and it's frustrating, you know. But anyways, the Heat would be down 17 after 3, and they stayed in it. The only note that I took for that quarter is this one sequence from Tyler that I really didn't like. He was ripped by Ron Holland and then committed a dumb foul in transition. One of those fouls where you run past the guy, but your arm scrapes his arm to get an and one layup. And it's like, if you're going to foul a guy in transition, smack his arms. Don't let him even get the shot off. I hate when they do these little ticky-tack fouls and give up the and one. And that's what Tyler did in that play. And it frustrates me greatly. But then after that, he kept chipping away. Oh, you got a Norman Powell basket. You got a Tyler Hero 3. Davion Mitchell steal after steal after steal. He did miss an easy layup, which would have been huge. And then also missed a free throw. Those 3 points obviously would have been made it a different game. But I'm not going to get mad on Davion. His defensive grit really led the charge. And then the Heat had a couple chances there at the end to try to force a turnover on the inbound, but weren't able to get it. Pistons would knock down some free throws and come away with the win. And what ended up being a really exciting game and turned me from just annoyance to, hey, all right, at least we got some fun tonight on a Saturday night, which is all I was looking for. The guy just wants to have a little bit of fun on a Saturday night, and we did get that. We'll run through the box score real quick here. On the Pistons side, the only other guy I want to mention besides Cade, I guess we'll mention Duncan. 18 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists, 7 of 14 shooting, only 3 of 9 from 3, but he played very well in his return. And then stupid Tobias Harris, 26 points on 10 of 12. 10 of 12 shooting for Tobias Harris. And the reason that's annoying is because Tobias Harris over me. I never want that guy to do good, even though Jimmy's not here anymore. It just annoys me, even though he's actually a cool guy. But we'll jump to the Heat side of things now. Norman Powell today finally had his first big scoring output since Hero's return. Even though I think this is only their second game together anyways, right? Norman's second game with Hero, but the last one, he struggled a little bit, not because of Hero, but I still think he needs to find his rhythm he will have the ball less in his hands less, you know? So I think just naturally it'll take some time for him to get adjusted. It has nothing to do with Tyler Hero, just has to do with bringing in new pieces, you know? But Norman today did finish with 28 points, 9 of 16 shooting, 3 of 6 from 3. So had that same efficiency that we've become accustomed to. Andrew Wiggins was even more efficient, 10 of 15 from the field, 31 points. Bam Adebayo today only took 9 shots, 5 of 9. Did get to the free throw line 6 times, hit 4 of them. But at 15 and 10, he was tasked to do quite a bit defensively. But he was fine. Not one of his better performances. And then Tyler Hero today had an interesting one because people will look, they'll say, oh, he got 24 points on 17 shots, right? That's not too bad. But he shot 6 of 17. That's 35%. And also, all 6 of those shots were threes. So he only made 3-pointers today. 6 of 11 from 3. That's obviously pretty good. But the problem there is the same thing we've been saying about him for a long time, is he struggles when he's being guarded by great athletic defenders. Whether it was who really gave him fits in the past. I don't know. Anytime it's someone who's actually quick, because his handle's not super tight, and he relies on a screen a lot more than some of the other offensive superstars in this league. So then you see times like today where he has an Asar on him or Ron Holland. He just relents to forcing up threes, which again, he hit a lot of them today, and Tyler Hero can't do that. So I'm not trying to take credit away from him. But it just kind of sucks that whenever he gets a great defender on him, they eliminate him from doing anything else other than very difficult threes. Because when he doesn't hit those difficult threes, because again, they're difficult, he ends up having an even more rough of a night than he had tonight. Because again, 35% from the field is not good, regardless of the 54% from 3. So it is what it is. That goes back to me saying I don't think he's a $40 million guy. He's a great player, helps this team. Maybe he's a $30 million guy. Not the $40 million plus max money that he's asking for, because max guys don't get major parts of their game taken away. I don't even know if Tyler Hero got a floater off tonight because they wouldn't let him get into the paint. And the point is, max guys don't get stuff taken away by great defense. They can score regardless, like we saw with Cade Cunningham for most of the night tonight. But anyways, Tyler Hero definitely hit some big shots late still. And then Davion Mitchell today, 7 points, 3 steals, and 10 assists. 10 assists to 0 turnovers. Snap it up, since I don't got my mic stand. Snap it up for Davion Mitchell. Another insane assist to turnover ratio. Didn't he just have 9 assists to no turnovers last game or the game before? I don't know. He's on one right now. The Heat could still use a true facilitator, because I think a lot of those unforced, ugly turnovers we saw earlier in the game could have been mitigated by someone who is a true point guard. But nonetheless, Davion Mitchell is doing an excellent job filling into that role. And then Drew Smith today, 9 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists, and 1 turnover. So 14 assists to 1 turnover for your 2-point guards. I think that is excellent. And then you got Pelle Larsson today, only 7 points, 2 of 6. I was hoping he'd be a little bit better in Jaime's absence. And then Khalil Ware today is 12 points, 7 rebounds, 1 steal, 1 block, 6 of 9 from the field. I definitely thought he had more than 1 block. I guess they didn't count it, but I liked his energy today. I don't think he's pouted since going back to the bench. I like how he's responded. Again, he hasn't been perfect, but he's only a sophomore, right? So I'm happy with Khalil Ware. He needs more minutes, Spo. A guy who doesn't need more minutes but might have to get them, because he's the only other big we have on this team, is Nikola Jovic. Jovic, dude, as Brendan Tobin would say. But I would say Jovic, ew. He stinks. And I thought if he was ever going to come out and have a great game, it would have been today. Because after the last game where he got a coach's decision, GMP, I thought he was going to, he made a comment that said, oh, I guess I'm back to out of the rotation. It's something that happens every year now, I guess. Yeah, you know why it happens every year? Because you stink. You out there acting like, oh, suppose putting you in the doghouse, it is what it is. It happens. No, he did it because you suck. You've given every opportunity whatsoever, and you were given a $15 million a year extension for 4 years. You were given everything. That is a sign that this team believed in you, is that they extended you before they had to. And you make those comments and you come into today with awful effort. You put your head down after every mistake. I wouldn't care if Jovic shot 0 for 10 as long as he played with effort. When he had that 1 turnover after he televised the pass, he put his head down and didn't even pretend to sprint back in transition. I understand Ron Holland got the ball. He's very athletic. You're probably not blocking Ron Holland dunk, but still, show some effort to get back. Don't put your head down and drag your feet across the court. It's ridiculous. You got the extension money. Time to act like a Jovic. I know it doesn't kick in yet, but it scares me when it does, because I'm not sure. He's not playing like a $5 million player, let alone a $15 million player. He finished today with 2 points, two rebounds, 1 assist to 5 turnovers. 1 assist to 5 turnovers is Nikola Jovic. Unbelievable. Very, very disappointed in him. I don't know. I've been talking for 25 minutes. I think that's way longer than I should for any of these post games, and somehow they get longer and longer. Anyways, Miami Heat do play the LA Clippers on Monday, so that should definitely be a fun one. And of course, they I think by the end of the week is when that NBA Cup picks back up, as the Heat are now one of the 6 teams, or 8, is it 8 teams? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, one of the 8 teams to make the NBA Cup. They will play the Orlando Magic. And right now on FanDuel, the sponsor of today's video, you can get the Miami Heat to win the whole NBA Cup at plus 1,600. The Raptors should be added here somewhere. That's why you only see 7 teams. But do I think the Miami Heat will win? No, just because the OKC Thunder are in this thing. But if for some reason the OKC Thunder lose early, do I think the Heat could beat any of these other teams? I certainly do. And that plus 1,600, maybe it's worth throwing a little bit of money on. Anyways, that's all I got to say for this video, except for Simone Fontecchio couldn't even play. I just thought about that. You traded Duncan for Fontecchio, and then Fontecchio, who's got off to a blazing start, was so damn awful these last 2 weeks, he wasn't even able to play against his former team. Spo maybe should have gave him a sprinkle of minutes. No Jaime? Maybe we got a Simone revenge game. Didn't even get a chance of it. I don't know. I can't say I blame Spo, because I think Fontecchio is like 1 out of his last 20 from 3. Something ridiculous. Anyways, leave your thoughts down in the comments below. Very curious to hear what y'all think. Also subscribe, because I'm on the grind to hit 9,000 subs. Now, we've been saying 10K. Can't get to 10K without 9K. I'll take the baby steps. I just want to jump to that 10K. We'll take it slow. Help me get to 9K subs. I'm about 500 away. That being said, that's all I got to say for this video. I'll see you on the next one. Peace out, y'all.
Look, pull up in your city, tryna get that dead face. Do it on my own, I don't need no dead weight. Had to kill him off, yeah, I need a head space. You know this homegrown bitch don't offend me.